Hello everyone, I'm Chuen from Asia Pacific University. So today I'm going to talk about what is a proxy server and how to configure a proxy server by using a software which is CC Proxy. CC Proxy is a software that has functions such as web caching, web filtering, and control access. And it has a free version which is limited to 3 users only. Other than this, it has a limitation which is compatible to Windows operating system only. So if you're using Linux or Mac operating system, you can always go for Squid, which is SQUID. There are links for both of the software on the description below.
So now I'm going to briefly explain what is a proxy server. A proxy server is an intermediary software that allows communication between the clients and servers in a more secure way. There are two types of proxy server, which are forward proxy and reverse proxy. For forward proxy, as you can see here, forward proxy is a proxy server that sends the request on behalf of the client to the file transfer servers. So the file transfer servers actually sees the IP address of proxy server instead of the IP address of the client. Next, let's go to reverse proxy. Reverse proxy is a proxy server that accepts a request from the clients on behalf of the file transfer servers. So it is more difficult for the internet-based attackers to attack the servers. Other than these two types of proxy server, there are also another 4 categories of proxy, which are transparent proxy, anonymous proxy, distorting proxy, and high anonymity proxy. Transparent proxy identifies itself as a proxy server and shows the IP address. This proxy server is generally used for web caching, while for anonymous proxy, it hides the IP address, while distorting proxy shows incorrect IP address instead of hiding it. Lastly, the high anonymity proxy is a proxy server that does not identify itself as a proxy server. It also does not make the IP address available. Now, to configure a proxy server, you need a software like CC Proxy. As mentioned just now, CC Proxy has a free version which is limited to 3 users only. It provides functions such as web caching, web filtering, and control access. To configure the proxy server, you have to click on the Options button to configure your proxy server. As you can see from here, there are a list of services that you can choose to be provided to the users who use the proxy server. You can simply check or uncheck them based on your wish, and I will briefly explain what are the services provided. First is mail, which is a computerized postman, domain name system, web cache, as in caching the website to improve the internet surfing speed, remote dial-up, which is remote access technology. And when you check on the auto startup, it means that you would like the proxy server to be turned on whenever the server is running. While for auto hide, it will hide the CC proxy and runs the software on the background. A port map is a service that provides other open network computing remote procedure call services that runs on network nodes. For HTTP or RTSP, it's Hypertext Transfer Protocol and real-time streaming protocol. And there's secure FTP, which is a file transfer protocol. It is a standard network protocol that transfers files. Gopher, which is TCP or IP application layer protocol. Socket Secure, which exchange the network packages and multimedia messaging services. Now, other than this, there are also ports as shown on the text boxes, but these are the default ports, and it is better to change the it's better to change the port to port number which is more than 1024, because the port 0 to 1024 are well-known ports that most of them provide their own specific services. So you can choose any port number that you like as long as it's more than 1024. For example, I would like to use 9021 as the port number. Now the last configuration step is to check auto detect to automatically detect the IP address. But you can also choose from here. This combo box will show the IP address. But for now, I'd like to check on auto detect. Now let's set up a user account. So for user account, you can choose the permit category, which is permit all or permit only. For permit all, you will not be able to add any user. For permit all, any PC within the local area network will be able to use the proxy server. Well, for permit only, you can choose for authentication type, which are IP address, MAC address, username and password, and the combinations of few of them. So now let's try to add the new user. For the new user, I'm going to name it user 1. Let's start with IP address first. For the first user, I'm going to name it user 1 with IP address 192.168.0.5, which is the IP address for this PC. And we can also set up the maximum connection, download bandwidth, upload bandwidth of the proxy server that is limited for the user. For example, a -1 will be unlimited connection and unlimited bandwidth as mentioned here. But if you want to restrict the connection, for example 20, Facebook has around 15 connections, so if let's say the user is trying to access a website that is more than 20 connections, then the website will not be able to function properly. Well, for download bandwidth, you can limit the download bandwidth to around 5 and upload bandwidth of around 5. So when the user trying to download or upload anything, the bandwidth will only limited to 5 kilobytes per second. Other than this, you can also choose the services. You can untick it. So for web filter, you can rename, or you can give the filter a name, for example, no Facebook. So for this one, I would like to filter Facebook, so the user will not be able to use Facebook. The asterisk .facebook.com means that it includes all subdomains of Facebook. Other than this, you can also choose advanced DNS filter or forbidden URL and forbidden content. But now I'm going to filter Facebook only. For time schedule, the time schedule is it works like, for example, for Monday, if Monday is set to 12 p.m. to 17 p.m., which is 12 until 5 p.m., the user will only be able to use the proxy server within this time, which is 12 to 5 p.m. After 5 p.m. or earlier than 12 p.m. they will not be able to use the proxy server. Well, for auto disable, you can choose to auto disable the proxy server on a specific date and time. But now I'm not going to disable it. So let's go to bandwidth quota. For example, if you're using 50 MB for one day, then the user will not be able to use more than 50 megabytes per day. Well, for lifetime, the lifetime is actually there's one best example for this lifetime, which is Cyber Cafe. Proxy server with these settings will be able to set the lifetime for the user to use the proxy server. For example, if it's set to 3 hours, this one is a day as shown here. The first one is day, second one is hour. I would like to set to 3 and minutes. So the user with these settings will not be able to use the proxy server for more than 3 hours. But now I'm not going to use it, so I'm just going to untick it. So for user 1 with this IP address will not be able to access Facebook. Let's press save. Okay, and start the proxy server. So now let's try to access to Facebook. As you can see, it keeps loading because the Facebook is actually being blocked by the proxy server in the for this user, so the Facebook will not be able to load. Now let's set up another account. Let's delete this. Was a new account with username or password. For example, username user and password ABC. With web filter, no Facebook. Forbidden sites. Okay. So now this user with username user and password ABC will not be able to access to Facebook. Okay, now restart. Now let's try to go to Facebook. So authentication required. We'll fill in the username and password we've set just now, which is user and ABC. Login. So now we can't access to Facebook, and let's try other website. So we can use other website other than Facebook. So other than this, you can also monitor what the user is doing by clicking monitor. So as you can see, the user is trying to access a forbidden website, which is Facebook, and also other connection information that you can view from here. So lastly, you can also hide the CC Proxy by clicking hide. So the software will be running on the background, but it hides the software itself. That's all from me. Thank you.